Like in the case of José Onfroy, a rapper popularly known as xxxtentacion, who was killed during a robbery in Florida. On June 18, 2018, 20-year-old Onfroy was out shopping for a motorcycle with his step-uncle Leonard Kerr. Earlier that day, Onfroy withdrew about $50,000 from the bank to make his purchase. The young rapper was unaware he was being stalked by four men: Michael Boatwright, Trayvon Newsome, Dedrick Williams, and Robert Allen. Williams and Allen even followed Onfroy into a dealership to confirm that it was indeed the rapper. Then, as he left the shop, Onfroy's car was intercepted by a black SUV. Armed with guns and faces covered with a mask, Boatwright and Newsome stepped out of the SUV and robbed Onfroy at gunpoint. A scuffle ensued, and the two ended up fatally shooting the rapper before grabbing his bag of cash and fleeing. A passerby filmed the immediate aftermath of the attack and called 911. Another captured Onfroy's lifeless body in the driver's seat of his BMW. The tragic incident left the hip-hop industry in shock, with popular artists like Diplo and J. Cole paying tribute to the teenage sensation. Shortly afterwards, the four were arrested and charged with first-degree murder and armed robbery.
You are charged with 1 count of murder in the first degree.
However, Robert Allen took a plea deal in exchange for his testimony in the trial of the other three, which began with the prosecution claiming that Onfroy's murder was pre-planned and efficient.
3561. So ask yourselves, that's more than enough time to formulate the premeditated intent and the design to kill someone and the killing.
Boatwright's lawyer suggested that Robert Allen, who was yet to testify against the three, would lie in court.
Robert Allen is the only person that you will hear from that puts Michael Boatwright at Riva Motorsports on June 18, 2018. But let me be very clear. If Robert Allen testifies in this case, he will lie.
Then, Williams' lawyer incredibly threw accusations at popular hip-hop artist Drake, arguing that the Grammy Award-winning rapper was to be blamed for Onfroy's death.
Before X died, he said, if anybody kills me, it's Drake. And do you think that for one moment, here today, days after the event, he's killed by 2 masked men, right? He came out on social media and said, guys, before he dies, if anybody kills me, it's Drake. Do you think in that time span that they went and they addressed him, they talked to him? No. Do you think sitting here today, years later, any detective has ever asked, Drake or anybody like that? No.
He also accused Robert Allen of getting paid by Drake.
How much money in 2018 did you receive from either Drake or one of Drake's associates?
I never met Drake before.
You never met Drake?
No.
Do you know who he is, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Finally, Newsome's lawyer appeared last, stating that no physical evidence linked his client to the crime.
The evidence will not show that any firearm was ever recovered that could be matched or linked to Trayvon Newsome. The evidence will show no DNA whatsoever found on the body of Mr. Onfroy or on that car.
However, he was wrong. The prosecution presented a boatload of evidence in court, including CCTV footage from the crime scene. But it was 3 pieces of damning evidence that settled the case. First was the testimony of Onfroy's step-uncle Leonard Kerr, who fled the scene of the shooting. He described what actually happened that day.
Taller guy, as I tell you, the taller guy went round to Jossie's side. The shorter one now come around to the door that I was, my door that I opened, and he go inside the car. And then I heard something like, "Hi, hi." How much time I don't know, but I heard something like explode.
Kerr also reenacted the moment Onfroy was shot.
You don't come out the effing car. And he was like with a gun. You don't come out the effing car. The shorter one was at Jassay's side.
The second crucial piece of evidence was pictures and videos captured the day of the shooting, showing the defendants posing and dancing with stolen money.
It shows Williams fanning $100 bills and surrounded by money. And this video taken at 12:35 a.m. This time Williams appears to be in a car, also fanning $100 bills, smiling and singing.
And finally, the testimony of Robert Allen ultimately sealed the deal.
As he's grabbing the bag, shots are fired.
Who shoots the shots that are fired?
Michael Boatwright,
And who does he shoot?
Triple X,
Where does he shoot him from? What side of the car?
driver.
Allen claimed that Newsom grabbed the bag of money, Boatwright shot Onfroy, and Williams was the getaway driver as he sat in the car. Unsurprisingly, the trio were convicted of all charges and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Michael Boatwright received an additional life sentence plus 30 years, as he was the one who pulled the trigger on Onfroy. As for Robert Allen, his plea deal meant a reduced sentence of 7 years in prison plus 20 years probation for second-degree murder, while xxxtentacion's promising life was cut short for a few $1,000s. But what happens